What you need to know before running paid ads. Guys, if you've never met me before, my name's Jimmy Pomponio. I've been able to close over $20 million in sales for my own companies, and the clients that I currently work with are doing $180 million a year in combined annual revenue from paid ads. Now, we help people grow with paid ads. We help people launch their ads, people scale with their ads. And what I wanted to do for you today is break down the top 20 questions that we get asked or that people should ask before turning on their paid ads, just so you have realistic expectations and understandings. And my goal is that whether you're running ads now, whether you've ran ads previously, or maybe if it's your first time coming up, that it is giving you a broad level of education and understanding to set you up to be successful. So, look, the first one is, what do business owners need to understand before running paid ads? The really big thing that you need to understand before running paid ads is just that it's a marketing system, okay? And the system has to work with the sales systems as well. So when you're starting to run paid ads, if you want to be successful, you have to have an offer that people actually want to buy. Then we need to collect the leads, and that comes with writing really good ad copy, having the right images or videos, and then capturing that lead. And there's many different ways that you can capture leads off Facebook ads. You can do lead generation forms, landing pages, messenger ads. But once that is done, that's where the lead nurture and sales process really takes over to be able to run a successful campaign. So it's not just as simple as setting up an ad and then things working really well. But the good news is with paid ads is that if something isn't working effectively or optimally, because you're able to track the data and everything is numbers based, is you're able to get an amazing result within your ads because you know what to fix. But it is definitely a little bit of a process. Now, look, the biggest mistake people make when they run ads for the first time is they often have unrealistic expectations or they don't have any understanding of how paid ads work in terms of cost per lead, cost per sale, cost of acquisition. And so, without knowing those clear numbers, it really sets people up for failure and actually not success. And that's where getting advice, okay, but making sure that you know what your cost of acquisition targets is, what's your cost per lead target, and sometimes with ads, you need to just get funnels running and track the data every single week to be able to optimize and improve along the way. And look, the difference between cost per lead and cost per acquisition in a basic level, if we're just talking about your ad spend. So your cost per lead is how much it is costing you to get someone to opt into your funnels. So say, for example, if you spend $100 on ads and you get 10 leads, that would be a $10 cost per lead. But then, for example, if you spend $100 and you get one sale, your cost of acquisition would be $100. Now, the cost per lead varies from business to business, location to location, niche to niche. The cost of acquisition changes. Like some businesses need to scale off really low cost of acquisition between, $50 and $200. When some businesses in higher ticket, say a program that we work with, they sell a program for $15,000. Is they're able to scale off acquiring a customer for anywhere between $2,000 and $5,000. And when you're looking at your cost of acquisition, you're really looking at what's your customer lifetime value and also your contracted value. Because if we use the $15,000 program, for example, if that's the customer lifetime value in that service, is if someone spends $3,000 to acquire one customer, which seems like a lot of money, right? But they get back $15,000. We would do that every single day of the week. If we were going to Las Vegas together, right? Going to gamble, going to have fun, and you put $3,000 down on the roulette table and you got $15,000 back, we would never come home. And Facebook ads don't work like that. It's not the same every single week, but that's where you just have to know your difference between cost per lead and cost per acquisition. And depending what you're selling, those targets are going to be very different. And they're actually going to adjust. They're going to go up and down every single week based on the performance of the sales teams and also the ads as well. And look, realistically, what I'd look to expect in terms of results in the first 30 days of an ad campaign, what you're really looking for is starting to get positive metrics and starting to drive sales. And so as soon as you turn on ads in the first 72 hours, you're going to start to get metrics of what's your cost per lead, what's your CPM, all those different things that are happening within a funnel. And so what you're looking to do is starting, if you have a 30 days where you can spend X amount on, ads, say $500 on your budget, and your company can get $500 or more back, would be an absolutely incredible month. But as I mentioned before, there's a lot of different systems that actually go into this. But starting to get positive results and starting to see the future of what ads can really look like. And look, one of the biggest things that we get asked a lot is how important is speed to lead and what's the ideal process? So look, when you're running Facebook ads, it's what's called pattern interrupt marketing. So people are going on their phones, they're scrolling, they're going there to be entertained. They've seen your amazing ad that, touches a nerve for whatever reason, and it's something that they're interested in. But that's where when you get a lead, you have to contact them quickly. And there's so much data and research on this is you must be contacting your leads as quickly as possible, ideally within 5 minutes. Whatever sales process you're running, whether it's, message, whether it's phone call, whether it's text message, being able to do so dramatically increases your chances of being able to turn that lead into a sale. And the systems that you want to have in place before you have your ads live, you need to have your basic sales systems mapped out of when you get a lead, where is that lead held and stored? How do we contact that lead to be able to get them into a sales opportunity, whether you're, selling them in person, over the phone, or whatever that might be. But then also, as well, making sure that you are confident within your sales systems, because closing sales off paid ads is a lot harder than referrals and all those other types of marketing. And so you just have to be really, really confident in your sales processes to a basic level. Now, in terms of like calendar links and things like that, we get asked a lot for inbound, outbound calls. So if people are booking a call, whether it's on your phone or maybe Zoom or Google Meets or whatever that might be, we recommend a system called ACR 365. It's run by my friend Jackson. Look, just purely we recommend to that, just because our team have complete access to be able to make edits and everything that we need. So our team can work really quickly for the businesses that we work with. But other ones that are really popular, you've got HubSpot, Go High Level. There's millions of different ones out there. What you're more looking for rather than like a calendar link that you're using is making sure you can set up the right automations via email and also text message off the back. With what kind of budget someone should realistically commit to if they want ads to work, it is very, very dependent on the ticket price of the sale and also the industry and the niche. Most people, when they're starting out on ads, will start anywhere from $10 to like $100 a day kind of thing. Some people with that we're working with are spending thousands of dollars every single day on paid ads to be able to hit their sales target. But your budget has to align with what your cost of acquisition is. If you're selling a package that's say $5,000, you are not going to acquire a customer for $5. You're not going to spend $5 to get 5,000 back. So there's a lot of ratios involved in that. And that's where, again, one of the things that we like to do with the people that we're working with is give them those realistic expectations based on their sales processes, based on their ticket price, because it does vary a lot industry to industry, area to area, and definitely business to business as well. In terms of how much time a business owner should expect to be spending each week with us, so we actually just don't have to meet our clients once we're running ads. We do everything via Slack and Zoom. So you're able to just kind of do everything. It's about 5 to 10 minutes a day to check in. But when you are getting leads, if you're the sales rep within that business as the owner, you're going to have to be able to invest more time in your lead nurture and sales to be able to be incredibly successful with your paid ads, because getting leads is great, but your sales team have to work with us and they have to be doing a really great job for paid ads to work. Now, if a business owner is getting leads and they're not closing them, what should they do? They need to find out what the actual issue is in the funnel. So you might be getting leads, but then what is the issue? Is it that they're not answering the phone, or they're not replying to email, or they're not converting on a landing page? You need to find out what that issue is. And that's where tracking the metrics at each level of the funnel is vitally important to have success in ads. Because even though your ads might not be working well, okay, we have to admit altogether that paid ads are one of the greatest ways to grow a business. We are so lucky to be able to run paid ads right now, okay, because it's so easy to grow a business. But also, as well, if things aren't working, there is always something you can do to fix it. And so that's where we have to go and investigate what is actually happening from the ad level to the lead capture level to the lead nurture to the closing rate, and then focus on improving that one thing through coaching, through systems, through improvement to be able to make your ads work successfully. And this is something you actually constantly have to do. So obviously when your ads aren't working the best, it gets a little bit stressful and you've got to do it quickly. But even when your ads are absolutely smashing it, you're always trying to constantly improve these little systems along the way so that you always get better results, lower cost of acquisition, higher ROAS, which is your return on ad spend. And so this is something that you start to do as a business owner the longer that you run ads, no matter if your ads are working well or if they are working poorly. And look, what's the difference between testing ads and scaling ads, and when does someone switch? So, when we're talking about testing ads at the start, we're trying to find different hooks, different angles, different ways to be able to capture leads and get the right quality of lead in. Once you've started to test ads and you're getting positive results, so you're getting leads, you're getting sales, you're making money, that's where you can start to systematically scale your ads, which is essentially just starting to spend more money. So more people see your ads on a daily basis, which leads to more sales opportunities, and more revenue. But you're always in a testing phase within your ads. You're always testing new things, or we are with our clients, to make sure that everything's working effectively. And look, the metrics that matter in the first few weeks and what people should track. Initially, again, you just want to start to see positive results. People seeing your ads, people clicking on your ads, that you're starting to get leads, that you're starting to get bookings, you're starting to get sales. Because in terms of a really important metric, or the metrics that matter, there's no metric that matters the most. It's that we're actually getting metrics and we're starting to build those base of KPIs for your business so we can start to improve those metrics. So your first month is a test and it's a case study to see how everything works. Then you can start to dive in and go, cool, the ads worked well, but this part can definitely be better. And then you'll start to optimize every part of your funnel with myself, our team, and also the people involved within your business as well. Now, how long does it usually take for someone to see like profitable ROI from our system? It really depends business to business. It depends on the sales cycle, on how much cash they collect, how much they're spending, and things like that. But the really, really good news on ads is as soon as you turn on your ads, you will know within a 7 to 21 day period what is working and what isn't. We'll be able to let you know, go, hey, we're really confident on this, or we need to change this, and here is why. But again, if we go back to what we talked about a while ago, is if you can cover the money that you're investing on your paid ads in the first month with new sales to essentially break even, you've covered all your cost of services, that is usually a really good place to start. And that's where everyone starts, where they start by going, cool, let's not lose money on our ads, let's break even. And you get to break even, and then you go to profit, 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 and absolute maximal profits as you continue to scale up. And look, if you've tried to run ads before and you've got burnt, what do you want them to know that will be doing right this time? But you've just got to think about why you got burnt last time, or maybe why you had a bad situation with your ads previously. Now, guys, I tell you, ads work. They don't work for all businesses initially because maybe there's some systems that just aren't working optimally. It could be that your offer's crap. It could be that your lead nurture was crap. Maybe the ads that you set up were crap. Maybe you're really bad at sales. Okay. But in everything within that, it's easy to fix if you have the right mindset and you're ready to be consistent and you're ready to be disciplined and you're ready to work on your ads and make them work. And so if you go into ads, the best way that I like everyone that we work with to think about is goes, cool, I'm going to start to run ads. Don't decide to run ads for a month and go, hey, if these ads don't work, I'm not running ads again, or I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Go into it like a professional business owner and go, cool, I want to run ads for my business because my business is at X and I want to go to Y. Great. What I'm looking to see is positive results, okay, so that you're moving forward. right? Because the reason why ads mightn't work, or maybe you got burnt, or whatever that might be, as we've picked up on today's call, it can be a series of 10, 15, or 20 different things. It could be one thing from those lists, or it could be 10 things. Like some people, they have the wrong offer, they don't know how to nurture their leads, and they don't have sales scripts. Of course, ads don't work in that level. But guys, if you're really patient and you decide to be a professional business owner and you're like, I'm going to run paid ads for the rest of my life as a business owner and I'm going to make these work, I guarantee you can get them to work. And that's where you might start at a smaller budget to give yourself more time and leeway, okay, to be able to learn these processes. Because once you learn them, you can have a seven-figure business, you can have an eight-figure business, you can double your business, you can 5x your business. Okay, but if you start and stop and run ads and make it a stressful situation for yourself, that's where people will feel like they've got burnt. And a big one where people feel like they get burnt, or a lot of people come to us from other digital agencies, is they just had unrealistic expectations. And this can happen in two facets. They can have been given unrealistic expectations from the people they were working with to get a sale, which happens because you can't guarantee anything on ads. No one can guarantee that you're going to sign 50 clients in X amount of days. All they're doing in that stage is giving you a massive promise to try and get a sale, and they're figuring out what's going to happen along the way, like we have talked today. Now, I'm spending well over $300,000 a week on ads. I absolutely love ads and I've done it for many years. And I can tell you there is no guarantee that any image, any video, any ad copy, any offer will work. But I can guarantee you that if you continue to work on it and don't quit, that it will work. And in terms of the role, like what role do follow-ups like our SMS, CRM, AI agents play in getting conversations? An absolute massive role. You need to have SMS capabilities. Having a CRM, I mentioned that we use ACR, is a massive helper. AI agents are phenomenal. They'll text and email your leads to be able to get them to book in. All these things are what we talk about lead nurture. So you've got your offer, you've got your ad, you've got how you capture the lead, and then you've got your lead nurture. How do we nurture that lead to get them into a sales opportunity? And that's where having like SMS, CRM, AI agents take a massive role within being able to get a really, really low cost of acquisition and an incredible amount of return on ad spend by getting sales. Because the ad is only one part of the funnel. The lead cost, and where people obsess about that, is one tiny, tiny, tiny part of everything in an ecosystem that needs to work in your favor to be able to get ads to work well. And we get a lot of questions about, like, if I'm closing 1 out of 10 leads, is that good? Is that bad? It really, really depends on your business, what you're selling, who you're selling to, and all those different things in between. If you can just learn to track of what's your cost of acquisition, am I covering my ad spend in new money that I'm collecting in the first 28 days, and you've got a nice customer lifetime off the back of it, you'll be very, very successful in ads. But every business is different and there's no guarantee on conversion rates because it really just depends what your sales team and yourself are doing. But one of the things is if you're getting a lot of leads and you're closing a certain amount of sales, right, that's a good sign. But then we're always looking to improve things. Every single week, we're looking to improve every part of the system in my own business because we run a lot of ads, and also with the clients that we work with as well. In terms of like what people need to do to get the best results, like working with a company like us, is like one, you need to work with us. Like we're your team, but we're not here to save your fucking business, right? We are here to work with you. We're going to think about it like a partnership. But also you have to be involved and you have to communicate really, really well. And also in paid ads is you have to be able to take a level of ownership and understanding that there is going to be things that need to be improved in every step of the cycle. And so if you can go into it like a professional business owner and go, awesome, here's how my funnels are working. Here's what I need to work on now. I'm willing to invest time, energy, effort, capital, whatever it might be to improve that part of the funnel. You're going to have an incredibly successful time with us, but also you're going to have an incredible successful time with any other professional that you work with to be able to run your paid ads. So, guys, hopefully that helped cover a couple of things just to think about, before you launch your ads, or maybe I know a lot of guys listening to this would already be running ads. And if we can surmise like everything here in, if you could just do one thing to be really, really, really successful on ads based on everything you learned here today, it would be track your numbers. Every single week, you need to track your numbers. Every day, depending on your budgets, you need to track your numbers to know your ad spend, to know your lead cost, to know your cost per acquisition, to know your ROAS. You need to know your customer lifetime value. As soon as you go into the paid ads world, like if you're like posting reels on Instagram and things like that, amazing, right? You're investing time, which is actually money to be able to do that. But in paid ads, you must be tracking your metrics to be able to be successful in the short term and also the long term. And that's why there is so much to learn and there's so much for you guys to be able to implement, which takes time. I'm still learning things about paid ads. I've been running it for years and years and years now. And so just learn how to track your metrics. Okay, learn how to be a patient business owner who's thinking about things in the long term, not just the short term, and know that any issue that you are having in your ads, if things aren't working optimally, any issue in life can be fixed. But it can't be fixed if you quit on yourself and you say paid ads don't work and all those different emotions that kind of pop up. If you step back and go, what is the number one issue that I need to fix on my ads this week? It is this. And we identify the strategies to be able to fix that. You work on that, you build it into a system for your business. You'll be one of the most successful business owners in the world because the majority of business owners don't run paid ads consistently because they can't think at a higher level and understand that there's things that must be fixed on a week to week and month to month basis to be successful.